Hey everybody, it's Robbi and welcome back to another episode of Miracle Mindset. Today I have an extra special guest with me and I'm so excited for you guys to meet her. She is just a ray of sunshine and I'm just excited for you to get to know her. Her name is Katie Austin and I would love for you to introduce yourself. I don't even know where to start.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me on. I am a fitness personality. I have my own talk show actually, and I am an app creator. And so my entire brand is kind of around like helping women achieve their best self.
So if you can't tell, Katie is incredibly fit. Probably the fittest person I know. I actually did a workout with her about a week ago and my legs are still sore. Coming upstairs, we live in a 3-story house and I'm not gonna lie, I feel it every single day. I'm like, Katie.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And you're freaking fit yourself.
So I wanted to start this episode the way we start every single episode, and that is asking our guests, what is the best piece of advice that you've ever received?
Oh man, that is a loaded question.
It's harder than it sounds, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure, because there's so many pieces of advice, that my parents really instilled in me. And for those who don't know, my mom actually, I don't even know if you know this, but my mom had her own TV show for 26 years. And so she has the longest running fitness show in like the history of the world. And basically she was on ESPN for 10 years and Lifetime for 15. And she sold like millions of DVDs. Anyways, I'm just saying that to give you a little context of like who my parents are.
And how you got into the space of fitness.
So basically their entire thing that they have really helped me understand, and especially in such a fast industry of social media, is that longevity is key. And so being from my mom, who had a fitness career of almost 40 freaking years.
That's wild.
I know.
Any career for 40 years, let alone something as competitive as that.
Yeah, and for our career, I feel like, I don't want to give a time limit on anything, but you see a lot of like creators that they're really famous for like 1 or 2 years and they like go down and it's a big wave. And so to be very successful for 40 years, my biggest piece of advice is that longevity is key. Always do things for the long run and never think of like the short-term quick fix. And if you have like long-term goals on how to like really achieve them without doing something like fast, because we're so impatient these days. We want something tomorrow. Yeah. We want to post it today, but like be patient, stay yourself, be authentic always, and always think long-term.
That's great advice, I think, and that goes into any aspect of our life, not just our job, but relationships, like thinking long term and really being smart about it. I mean, same with anything, with like diet, with exercise, it's key for everything. So that's great advice, I like it.
Absolutely.
I mean, obviously you're so into fitness and health, and I would love if you could share with me, but also with everyone at home watching this, I would love if you could share some of your top tips for health and fitness.
I love the way how you say so. I like it. So, with your accent, Sarah. I can't freaking do an Australian accent.
Everyone, and it's no as well. People think I say nor, and I'm like, no, I say no. And they're like, exactly, you just said it again.
I can't even do it, you guys. I can't even try. No.
No.
I'm from Virginia, so just a PSA, I can't even do it. First off, I want to say my entire brand is something that I think is very realistic for everyone. And yes, you keep saying I'm very fit, but at the same time, I don't want to say I'm not, but I'm just like every other regular girl who works out 5 days a week and treats their body right. And so
it's achievable.
Yes,
for
exactly.
me and for everyone else.
It's nothing too crazy, because if it's too crazy, that's my first tip. If it's too crazy and too intimidating, it's not going to be achievable for you and your lifestyle.
Sustainable. That's the other thing. You can do it and then you're going to plummet and plateau and be burnt out.
Yes. So you want to make sure it's sustainable for your lifestyle, and you hear that all the time, like fitness is a lifestyle, but truly,
how did it go?
Fitness is a lifestyle. I'd love to hear you do that in an Australian accent.
Fitness is a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Everyone's like clicking off the video.
No, but for real, it really is to me. And find something, that's my second tip, is finding something that works and that you have fun with.
Mixing it up.
Exactly, yes.
That's true. I found that lately. I was working out at home every single day during quarantine and I was so bored. And I was just finding myself dreading it. And I'm like, okay, now things are open. I'm going to go to a dance class, or I'm going to go to an Orange Theory class or something, and just mixing it up,
Absolutely, and having fun with whatever you're doing. It doesn't need to be like an hour and a half long HIIT workout, because you're definitely not going to do that day 2. So finding something that you really enjoy and you love. Number 3, I would say setting goals is really huge. Again, I feel like that's a very vague piece of advice that you might hear a lot, like set a goal. But it's true. We work 10 times better as humans when there is a deadline or a goal involved. I know especially me, if I am just working out kind of mindlessly and there's no really deadline involved, I kind of feel like, okay, I feel really great right now, but like what's the point a little bit? And so I recently had a really big shoot. I shot for a Sports Illustrated swimsuit, and that was obviously like a huge goal of mine. And when I had that goal and I had 5 weeks to prepare, I've never worked so hard in my life.
Yeah.
And so having
because it was achievable and you had a deadline.
Yes.
Wow, that's really, really good advice.
Yeah, but at the same time, those goals don't have to be really, really huge. It doesn't have to be like a huge like workout or bikini shoot. It can be something just like, I want to try to do 15 push-ups every single day this week. It can be a very small goal. So, making sure that those goals are, again, attainable.
And I think even going one step further than that, I think telling somebody what your goal is, that is going to keep you accountable.
I love that.
Because so many times, and I know I have like a little notebook and I'm like writing down my goals, but when I share my goals with somebody, whether it's Alex or my friend or a family member, and they're checking in with me, keeping me accountable, and they're like, hey, Robbi, you said you're going to do this, and I'm like, I just push it to the back of my head,
Yes.
So.
For sure, my boyfriend, if I tell my boyfriend a goal, and if I'm like, oh yeah, I'm not going to eat after 8 p.m. this week, he'll like literally give me so much shit for doing what I said that I wasn't gonna do.
Yeah, so it's good. It keeps you accountable, and even if you fail, at least it's in the back of your head. Someone's like, okay,
yes,
I'm gonna do better next time. You're aware of it.
Absolutely. I would say my next tip for workouts is setting your workout schedule every single week and setting like what you're gonna eat that week. So planning ahead is really big. I think a lot of times in our lives we get really busy and we kind of like, if it's 7 p.m. and we're starving, we just like resort to fast food or anything like that.
I know I do that sometimes. I'm so guilty of that.
I did that last night. It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, we're all freaking human here. But at the same time, if you plan ahead, it can make your life so much easier with workouts and meals. I guess my last tip is really cliche, but it's just,
we love cliche.
Yeah.
But I mean, so many things in life are cliche for a reason because they're true.
I know. And I just feel so cheesy though sometimes, but hey, it's all about your mindset, aka like even the name of the show. It really is all about your mindset, and staying positive is a huge part of a fitness journey.
I was writing a quote the other day to put onto this page actually on Instagram, and it said, it's okay to be sad, but just don't set up camp and live there.
Ooh,
and
I mean, that.
It's okay to feel sad or like unmotivated or frustrated or lethargic and lazy, whatever. We all have those days, and you can feel that. That's okay, but just don't live there. Like, crawl out of it. Like, you're strong enough to get out of it. Even if that's dragging yourself to do a workout, get your endorphins going, whatever it is, something that you love that's gonna help you just feel a little bit better.
I absolutely love that, and I think we all go through so much in life, and sometimes it doesn't matter what happens to you; it's how you react on it, and that's again all about your mindset. You can look at someone who has, a very unfortunate life, and they can be the happiest person ever and still spread kindness to other people. And so I think that's like what we should all try to, instill in ourselves.
So about a month ago, I guess it was nearly a month ago, I was actually in Miami for Miami Swim Week, and little did I know that this one was actually walking the runway in the Sports Illustrated show, which, as you guys know, is one of the coolest, biggest runway shows in the world. So it was incredible to see you. This girl has got a mean catwalk on her. Like,
I was so nervous.
I mean, you couldn't tell.
I honestly didn't practice my walk, and this sounds like I'm literally lying. I did not practice my walk until like 5 minutes before. I just flew in from Montana, and I'm the type of person, this sounds very whatever, but I just don't really give a shit. I just don't. And it's just a walk, and so people were like practicing, and I'm like, wait, you just walked down a runway, like, you know what I mean? But I was nervous at the same time.
Did you change your walk from your normal walk? Did you change it up a little bit?
I just walked so fast and so sassy.
Sassy, like hips, butt, boob.
Yeah. And then afterwards, of course, like I post online and I get like so many haters, like, you should have practiced before. I'm like, maybe I should have practiced before. But I thought if I practiced too much before, then it would ruin the actual moment.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I mean, I was there. You did incredible. I was so proud of you. The amount of confidence that you had doing that is just so inspiring.
Thank you.
And I love that. So I want to just kind of move in a little bit to confidence and motivation, and how do you maintain such a positive attitude, and how do you have this fierceness and this boldness? Because I know there's so many times, myself especially, there's times I get caught in my head and I overthink things, and I think you've pretty much just summed it up. You didn't overthink it. And I know so many of us with situations, we mess them up, not because we weren't capable of doing it, but because we didn't even get to the point of doing it because we overthought it. So I would love for you to touch on that and give us a little bit of advice about confidence and motivation and how you get there.
If you knew me like from ages like 13 to 19, I was not confident at all.
Really?
Like I was an athlete my entire life, and I would say I'd had confidence on the field, but nothing else further than that. And that's one thing that I think like sports really taught me, is like a lot of dedication, teamwork, how to be strong outside of what you look like. And so I was really blessed to grow up in a household that was so focused on how smart I was and how athletic I was. And my parents and my surroundings actually had nothing to do with my looks, which was very, you know, very different.
It's empowering.
Yes, and very different than LA.
And you're very validated for who you are as a person and not what you look like, which can be changed at any second.
Absolutely. And in LA, we value a person based on how many followers they have and their looks a lot of times.
And like what bag they're holding, what car they're driving, this, you know. I mean, so much of that is in everyday life too. We follow someone on Instagram and we're like, oh, like look what she's wearing. I could never afford that. And then you feel invalidated.
Absolutely. And so when we base our value off of what we can do for others, like, you know, how kind you can be to other people and nothing to do with what you look like, how smart you are, you know, how ambitious you are, how, you know, what you can do for yourself, like self-love wise, you will feel so much more confident. There's obviously things that you guys can do to really boost your confidence that I do. Again, cheesy, working out boosts my confidence like crazy. I get like a, you know, the endorphins rushing.
Exactly, and you feel good because you're like, I worked for that, you know, and like it's something that you can control.
Exactly. And so, I mean, surrounding yourself with good people is always a key for confidence as well. And I think if you feel insecure when you are hanging out with people, then they're not the people that you want to be hanging out with.
I've definitely been going through a bit of transition. As you know, I've been in LA for like 2 years and I moved just before the pandemic started. So it has been somewhat hard. Like I meet so many people in this industry at, you know, events and things like that, but it's not necessarily people that would align with me. So, you know, I've kept a very small circle because exactly what you just said, it's so important to have the people around you who have a similar mindset and who are looking beyond what you have or what you can offer them. And they're like, who are you at the core of you? Are we going to have conversations that inspire each other? Am I going to walk away from you feeling like inspired and motivated for life? Or am I going to walk away feeling like drained?
Absolutely. And that just goes for the same thing on social media too. If you are following people that don't make you feel as confident, then you can always unfollow them. And so always make sure you're surrounding yourself and online too with people that make you feel better.
Yeah.
And also I feel like confidence it's kind of like this like trendy thing on what you can do to boost your confidence right now, like self-care, like face masks, do this. There's not one thing that you guys can do to boost your confidence, and not one person can be like, oh my God, I love your outfit today, you look so pretty.
And you're just gonna feel, wow, I'm confident now.
Yeah, it's not that, and it's not something you can tell you. You could feel confident, you know, within that moment, the next like 5 minutes, but at the same time, it is all within yourself. And just realizing we said this, but this is the biggest part about confidence, is realizing how much you can offer beyond your looks. Confidence has nothing to do what you look like.
Yeah. And the other interesting thing about confidence is that it's a skill that can be learned.
Yes.
So putting yourself out of your comfort zone, because I mean, I was so shy when I was in primary school. I was homeschooled until I was in grade 5. Wow. And I'm one of 6 kids, so we were always around each other. It was like a very loud environment. So when I went to school for the first time in grade 5, I didn't really know how to socialize with other kids. You know, I was a little bit different, kind of not into the kind of the culture of school. I didn't know how to act. And people didn't really talk to me. Like I wasn't confident at all. And slowly, as I've got older, I've learned that confidence. And again, like you said, based on more than what I look like, but instead what I can offer people and how I feel about myself. I actually read a quote, and speaking of cheesy, I know you said we're being a little bit cheesy, but this quote is cheesy, but it doesn't mean it's not true. And it's like, take notice of the times in your life that you feel the best about yourself.
Love that one.
The people around you and how you feel, and then recreate that.
I love that one. Absolutely, for sure.
So you're dating a pretty incredible guy, Lane.
Yes.
I mean, look at her face. When she talks about him, she literally
oh my
smiles.
God, I'm so in love.
And I love hearing how you speak about him, and you have some pretty exciting things happening in your lives together. But that is definitely a contrast to guys you've dated in the past. Yes. I know we've talked about that before.
I feel like a lot of our teens and our 20s, we kind of diminish our worth based on the guy that we're with, because they can treat you so bad and the relationship can be so toxic and draining. And for me, we were just talking about confidence, and I was very insecure in my last relationship. I dated a guy for almost 5 years, and I feel like I was a different person. And you will know when it is your person because of how confident you will feel. You know what I mean?
That's incredible advice. Very true as well. You know, when you're putting your worth in someone, and then that means when they're not there to validate you, for whatever reason, whether it be you break up or they move away, whatever it is, if you put your worth in another person, then you're not actually putting your real worth in yourself.
That is so true, and I actually haven't heard that like in a really long time, and I needed that right now too. But I mean, it's just so different when you realize a relationship doesn't have to be toxic too, and how good you can feel when you're with someone.
That was a big lesson I learned, and honestly, I didn't learn that until I was well after 22. I put my value into someone, into a relationship. As you guys know, I've been divorced, and I was with that person for 7 years. That was my whole life. My adult life was dating this person. So when they weren't there, my self-worth went too, because I'd put that in a person and it was misplaced. So I had to learn that, it's just not the healthy way to do it.
Absolutely, and kind of going off that too, never changing for someone else. You always stay true to who you are in a relationship, and you shouldn't be with someone else, a partner, who wants you to change. They should love you for exactly who you are. So my ex really was insecure and questioning me when I was posting bathing suit photos online. He was like, why are you doing this? Do you want some sort of validation? What can I give you? And was changing my mindset to be like, oh wait, maybe I'm not doing the right career, and would make fun of me for posting on Instagram. Yeah. He was like, sorry, I can't post on Instagram for a job.
Yeah,
and diminish
passive
me.
Aggressive.
Exactly, yeah. And so he was making me rethink of myself and almost trying to change my entire career path. And so you never want to be with someone it's obviously a whole lot harder said than done, but you never want to be with someone who wants to try to change you. They should love you for every single part of you.
And obviously, being in a relationship, there is things you do compromise,
Totally,
of course. But it's like when they're trying to change your core values and what you value as a person, that's when there's a problem. Of course, maybe I don't like doing the washing or whatever it is. Of course, you're going to do that in a relationship, but when it's them trying to change a value that's really important to you, then you've got a problem.
Absolutely.
So that's a really good point.
And I think a lot of the times in our 20s and beyond that, but in our 20s especially, we are okay with dating toxic guys. I don't know what that is and why. And it's all over, there's this new show on HBO, F-Boy Island, and all the TikTok.
I watched it.
You watched it?
It was terrible. I'm sorry.
I haven't seen it yet, but I had 2 of the guys on my show recently, and I still haven't seen it. But
we met a couple of people the other day. I just think the concept of the show is terrible. The people themselves, I have no idea. I'm sure they're incredible people. I'm sure they are. But I mean, it's just the concept of the show just shows you the culture and how it is and how it's changed.
And then you see people on TikTok, girls on TikTok being like, he's asking me to come over at 3 a.m. Here I go. And it's just wait, no, girls. Self-worth, you know what I mean? Make sure you're always respecting yourself. And it is very hard. I don't want to say hard, but it's really hard to find a guy or a girl who respects you and your career, especially what we do. So follow your own path, and I mean, biggest advice is never settle. If you're questioning whether you're settling, then he ain't it.
Ooh, put that on the screen. That's great. Being unapologetically you and being bold and knowing this is what I stand for, and if you don't like it, I'm sorry. Bye-bye.
Yeah, no, I love that. I absolutely love that.
Well, look, thank you so much for sitting down with us today. I really, really enjoyed this conversation. If you want to do some workouts from home, I'm going to link her app below. She will definitely kick your butt.
Thank you.
I'm actually going to sign up. I mean, like we said, we want to keep workouts fun and interesting, and I think it's a great way to change up your routine. So
absolutely.
You want to check that out. Link it below. She also has an incredible talk show, which I will also link if you want to hear more. As you can hear, she is a wealth of wisdom. She has so much to say, and if you want to hear more,
can I just carry you in my pocket to gas me up? Okay, that's so sweet of you.
Well, look, thank you so much for being here. I'm sure you guys will be seeing her on the cover of Sports Illustrated very soon. It's gonna happen.
Well, let's manifest it.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Bye.